later today for a chance at the playoffs. It's forZe starting out on the T side as we get into the pistol.
Absolutely, and forZe, that P250 on Zipal, trying to find those long-range shots. A little bit better than the USP at range, and there you go. That's why you get the P250. At one-shot range is beautiful, and he might just get another one. Great armor penetration on the P250 as well. Zipal trying not to bite off more than he can chew. Being responsible, falling back. I mean, he is not Flit. They are two very different players. Flit would definitely be pressing W, I'm sure. But even Flit is keeping things chill for now. And Estepal will eventually go down. And now it's Flit's turn, and he'll get shut down as well.
Good job from Robin. 2 kills already on the round, looking to try to extend that further. But Jerry creeping along here over towards Ivy through the green train. It might even be a backstabbing option as we're seeing Inner being pressured right now by another member of forZe. Jerry, though, has been found out. Face crack goes down Inner. Now the bomb actually redirects back over into the outer site for the plant. It's going to be a 2v4 post-plant, though. It's going to be so hard on Jerry and Almazer to hold this off. You'd have to imagine the P250 still in play for Thomas as well. And there it is, striking onto Almazer, all on Jerry now by his lonesome. Lots of damaged players, but still so many bodies at once being thrown at him. It's so overwhelming, but he's able to find one of them. That's not going to be enough, as the bomb will get defused and Endpoint will take that first stab at things.
And this could be very exciting now, though, because I love it when we get that bomb down. The T's lose around, but they get that bomb bonus as well as $1,900. So it's going to create a scenario where they can get a very strong buy on the second round, which is, we're going to see a Mac 10 or 2. We're going to see the scouts and Galils and the utility. Chaos is assured. He will come out on top once the dust settles is the question. And you know, you can run so many different plays off of this, and we're using the new version of all the maps, and one of the changes, which is maybe less talked about, is the changes to train, where the Ivy skybox is opened up, and I'm not sure if we're going to see too much new tech used, as it were, in terms of any cool new lineups.
I think all it is now if you have a teammate with the smoke that happens to be at Ivy and you don't happen to have one where you are, that's the normal lineup for like Z or, you know, E-Box or Bomb Train, at least they can throw that for you, but I don't think it really will change like the meta or strategy overall. That's just kind of my guess at things. Either way, we do see Thomas taking the first crack at this round, able to find the dome of Z Power. And that is going to now cause forZe to shuffle the remaining players here towards Inner Halls. They definitely have a lot of good Inner executes on this team, actually. Pretty good with their utility on this one. So I expect them to be throwing some smokes over towards Deep Z and just trying to flash their way in.
Crucial trying to play the delay game here, trying to hold on to that side out of control, but the sidewalk will be taken over by Flit. Aggressive as ever. Surreal able to lighten the load ever so slightly. And hold on to this, the back of oil, and it's to work out right now. Flit trying to work the 1G, but he will be fragged, and this is not going well at all for forZe. They got the bomb planted, which is something, but they didn't get the damage that they needed. And so if they had more kills in this round, I think it's a guaranteed force buy in the following round, but because they didn't get any kills here, they may have to think twice about that.
Yeah, if you ever want to start getting onto SGs, get the AWP and the Z-Powers hands, I feel like you want to do right away on a map like this. Then yeah, you would think maybe you just get some upgraded pistols, maybe a couple of flashes, and that's about all you spend. And as I say that, nope, that's not what they're going to do. They actually buy 1 SG for Flit, who has head armor. So yeah, they don't go all the way. They do like one kind of like, it used to be called the Hero AK, but it's the Hero SG in this case.
I like that because it does say a lot about forZe. They're thinking about their opponent's economy. They're like, we didn't do much damage last round. We don't want to have a round where there's absolutely nothing in terms of what we can offer in a firepower sense. We want to be able to get at least a couple kills, recycle the Krieg. If a player goes down with it, can we get it into somebody else's hands to get some fragging opportunities come through? And it might be a surprising pickup as well as far as Endpoint are concerned. They may get caught off on some of the scope angles that are particularly favorable for a Krieg. So there's definitely a lot to work with just a single Krieg. And nice off angle from Thomas into team main. That's certainly going to be annoying. And there goes the Krieg. R.I.P.
Z-Power will now pick it up, but he's unarmored, so that is going to make it harder to get much use out of it. But still, if he can find the tats right away, he could still maybe cause a problem here. And indeed, he is going to do just that. Finds Thomas between the eyes. He's going to go ahead and maybe even continue to look to march forward. They still have that one player towards Ivy. That's Jerry. The normal Ivy player for this team could be either him or Flix. It could be him this time around as the rest of the team tries to come out. T-Con and Robin and company, though, dealing it just fine.
That's not looking too bad. Guns have been collected. Actually, Power, if he can just get another kill, the investment is worth it. Pressure's on to get that kill. The HE will finish him off, though, and his chances will be dashed. 3-0 opener for Endpoint on the CT side of things, keeping a good check on their own economy, making sure that it's fairly healthy, and they do pick up a Krieg, which is always very nice on the CT side of Train. And now the AWP comes out to play on Crucial as well, who's was having a pretty decent series with that AWP so far, I would say. And this is going to be interesting now. forZe, they've got the full buy. They're looking to make things explosive right from the get-go. They get FaZe out to Olafmeister, out towards Sandwich immediately.
Again, forZe showing you that fast-paced style of play they oh so love. Unfortunately for them, it's been silenced quite a bit. Flip being caught there by the AWP of Crucial. That is going to cause things to slow on up. Z-Power trying to see if he can find a pick with this AWP, but no one showing themselves quite yet. No need. As Thomas will look to creep forward, and that's a bit of an awkward look at each other, but Thomas is going to win that fight in the end of it all. So getting that advantage even more for Endpoint now.
I don't think he saw FaZe crack, actually. He was on his screen, but it doesn't seem to matter. Crucial will take him down. It's a wipeout, a total wipeout towards that A-side aggression. forZe, they got that opening aggressive movement, but then slowed things right down. It seemed to give the chance for... Oh, hello.
What?
Okay, didn't catch that. That's somewhat disgusting.
Wow. Yeah, I did not see that at all.
Okay, but I guess forZe need to be a bit more forceful with their A pushes there. They gave a lot of time, a lot of breathing room for Endpoint to adjust, and adjust they did.
Low buy now for forZe, Scout for Z-Power, and Mac-10 for Jerry, and Pistols all around for the rest. I do have a lot of utility, though, to be fair. And one of the things that forZe like to do on this map is they like to deeply smoke every single lane on inner and then molly pop and then just pop flash their way out. They also like to throw a smoke on upper side to block that route as well. So they actually use their smokes really well in their intercept pieces, and that's what they're going to go for in this round, even though they don't have that much firepower.
Using those smokes to great effect. The CTs will control the back areas, though, and oh my god, Surreal over the top of the smoke is going to decimate the push. They don't get almost any ground whatsoever. Almeza makes it to the default spot on the bomb train, but he doesn't even have the bomb. So at this point, the best look is maybe one kill, but he's going to get shot in the back here. Crucial will finish things off, and oof,
that's rough. Because they actually did that exact smoke while I was talking about. A lot of teams, when they hit inner, they'll just kind of like smoke Z and maybe smoke one of the lanes, and then it just kind of focus their way out sidewalk and then, you know, play the typical inner execute. But again, forZe kind of add that extra bit of utility. I think it's like something Hunden kind of made really famous. Just like smoking every single lane, making sure every single angle is covered, that no one playing deep can actually get any vision. But the one thing it can't stop is someone getting on top of Z-Train and peering over everything, and that's exactly what came back to haunt them in that round.
There's a lot of teams that will smoke that position as well, so that cannot happen. And so it's a shame that that's the one thing that was left open, and it kind of just ruins everything else. So,
but I think that's what that tells us is in a later round, when they actually have the firepower, they'll run probably that same execute, but actually be able to punish someone that jumped on top of Z maybe. So I think that could still come into play later on down the road.
I like the activity here or the proactiveness, taking the initiative for Endpoint, trying to take that team main presence, but here comes a late push from it. But you can see they still have those angles. Good trade from Z-Power, very needed to get a trade such as that. And that will open them up into to make a nice maneuver here in this mid-round. As we move into the mid-round, you can see that they are shipping all their players towards that Ivy position. And there is one man towards ladder room that can potentially sandwich anyone playing Mighty Max's position. If the timing is correct, get that line of sight between Ivy and ladder room, it can be quite strong. We'll see if that's the case. Mighty Max hit. Going for that jiggle, trying to catch the first player. He knows someone's going to swing him eventually. And there it is, there's the swing. It's not quite perfect. And that is the entry that forZe needed, but Robin still providing a valiant defense from the bomb train.
He has yet to die, by the way, in this game. It may happen here and now, though, as there's a lot of keys kind of floating around, and eventually they do sniff him out, but Crucial has been left unchecked. Is going to stop that bomb plant. Now all the 1v1. Crucial versus Jerry, and Crucial will be that victor, and it's a 6-0 start for Endpoint. This is a very, very good beginning for the Brits.
Absolutely. And given the fact that they've had so much success in the previous rounds, losing 4 players here on train is really expensive because you're usually running an AWP or even more than one AWP on a lot of your CT setups. Super expensive to lose so many players, but they've got so much money in the tank due to their previous successes that actually they're still in a very comfortable position. forZe, they're in such a desperate spot, I think.
Yeah, it's tough. And now they're in a spot now where the CT utility count and economy has built up so much that all the fast, like loose, aggressive plays that forwards would normally like to run, particularly towards the outer bomb site, aren't really options anymore because you're going to take so much utility damage if you try to run that type of play, or you're forced to extinguish, and then it could get awkward, peering through your own smoke, trying to see if you can still get a duel. The options are really piling against forwards at this point.
A quick B pop is coming with the SMGs. To us, it's fairly telegraphed, and Cyril looking to drop the smoke. That shouldn't stop the forZe team, though. They should want to go through this.
Yep. I imagine we're going to see that same exact smoke call we saw a couple of rounds ago. Maybe it'll be better this time. Who knows?
There we go. There's the flashback. Trying to get there's mollies in. There's no smoke to deal with the top of the Z train there. They're going to go for the rotation straight towards ladder room, but there is Thomas towards E-box here. He'll annihilate the first player. Some good damage on the following one, and Robin's got the angle as well. The bomb is now lost in them by E-box, and they've just abandoned it. This plan has just completely failed. It almost felt like it would be better to go in towards B, but
it was like a really telegraphed fake. I mean, it's really what it comes down to. Just so easy to read. And even if it wasn't to be a fake, you're still always going to have someone probably ladder, just in case someone backs up. And then they had to run through a smoke at ladder room, and it was just a disaster. Again, I'd really love to see them run a play like that when they actually have economy, when they actually have, like, full weapons. Maybe you throw all the smokes, that guy gets on top of the Z train, you have a guy boosted to op that guy through, like, the windows, because that doesn't get used very often. So I think maybe they could, even if they're not winning rounds, they could, use that to their advantage later. But what must be said is Endpoint's doing such great work right now. Really, really well done on their CT side. Everyone's playing quite well.
Power trying to do what he can with the Deagle. That's all that's left for him to work with at this point. He collects the bomb. He's got 10 seconds. Oh, nice shot. Power really trying to make this one. Oh, my God. Just one more player to go. He actually has time. Oh, no, I don't know. It's just about not enough time. He can steal the AWP, though, to try to save that. But what an effort from him. Very surprising. Some great damage. And that could actually make a huge difference moving forwards. But
man, oh, man. He actually made that interesting there for a second. You wanted to believe a bit. If he could have gotten the plant, maybe, just maybe. Absolutely incredible stuff. That's why Z-Power is a name that most people are talking about right now from the CIS region. Such a talented guy. Very good aim.
One thing, though, about those B players that is very concerning is that it feels like they don't understand that the CTs can just jump on top of the Z train to get full info. Because they think there's a lot more value to the fake then if they imagine there's a world where no one's doing that.
Right.
Because the CTs can just immediately see, well, there's no one coming down the ramp.
I could see a world, though, where maybe they have a plan for that guy jumping up there to get that kill, or at least get the trade on it. But yeah, we'll have to, in due time, maybe we'll figure that out. But as you noted, it certainly hurt them in a faking situation.
Well, they're going to switch things up and just ship it all in on the A-bomb site here, as they will be throwing the outside utility, the delayed utility there, to try to get out a little bit later, a bit more unsuspecting timing. And they do make their way out into the open positions, and they smoke some more forward ones to create some avenues for attack. Great entry frag from FaceCrack, but it is quickly answered by the CTs. Endpoint looking very good here at the moment. Jerry on top of the train, falling off now to see if he can find more value from the held position, and he will. Finding that headshot does change things. The crucial is now starting to low from Connector, and Thomas has a great vantage point here from CT
He's gotten to hold this spot this whole time. They have no idea he's in heaven, and that could be a real problem for forZe. It may not even need to be used, though, as crucial out here, doing big things with the AWP. Now all on Z-Power. And yeah, that's where Thomas could finally strike. And so 8-0. No 7-1 memes, Dan. Usually we get a good 7-1 in Counter-Strike, but it's a full-on 8-0 start for Endpoint. And forZe, I mean, this is where you probably start panicking at least a little bit.
Yeah, it is starting to get a little bit scary. Now, in Counter-Strike, especially at this level, you can have a situation where one team will not be very rounded on the second half, they may have a very strong CT or T side, but then you go take them into the other half, and that might actually be a half they're still working on. They still have some kinks to iron out. They're still not super fluid there. So we don't really necessarily know what to expect out of Endpoint when they hit the T side. Because I definitely would say the T side is certainly harder to cobble together a good game plan and to execute it well than the CT side. Where the CT side, you can play your spots, you can have some default protocols, and it's pretty straightforward from there if that's how you want to play it.
So here we go into round 9, forZe limited weaponry, and Z-Power has already been severely handicapped there with that shot, down to 32 health. Almazer and Jerry also taking a little bit of chip damage. Thomas has taken on a brunt as well, to be fair, but still Endpoint looking very much in control of this. Another nade is going to come in. That's more damage dealt to Jerry. So before a peak has even really happened, you already have 3 players bleeding out. Make that 4 with Flit also taking some damage.
Really default stuff here from Endpoint as well. They're able to have just the one man towards the halls, the B halls, and everybody else stacks towards the A bomb side. This is kind of, again, you know what I was talking about, just some of these default protocols. They're playing a passive A setup with 4 players. They've got information to rotate to B very quickly if the inner player spots somebody, but
it's a nightmare if you're forZe, because you're trying to run like a quick play with limited utility, and the ultimate counter is them knowing that you're not in their halls.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh my god, great shot from Z-Power, opening things up here. 3-0 trying to defend from the bomb train. Mighty Max swinging in from hell, and Thomas also doing his work respectively. 3v3 here, chances are had here as positions gained, but looks like Endpoint are more than happy to deal with forZe's positioning, and they just close it down. They're so comfortable right now. It doesn't really feel like forZe have put them really in any uncomfortable positions.
Haven't had the economy for it, to be fair. I mean, it's been really hard. They've had to take a lot of low buys, a lot of saves, and it's allowed Endpoint to build up a crazy economy. I mean, there are so many rounds where, you know, there was that run from like round 2 to round 6 or so where you saw Endpoint survive with either all 5 players or 4 players. So they got to build up a lot of bank during that stretch, and it's really made it hard for forZe. It's limited their options. They can't get away with faster paced plays outer anymore. This gambit they were trying to run at enter with the deep smokes hasn't panned out for them a single time yet out of the 2 attempts. And yeah, Endpoint just feels super comfortable on Train, which again, it surprises me because I know they were struggling with it in some of the online tournaments they were playing. But I know they also had a lot of practice coming into Anaheim, and I guess this is one of the maps maybe they retooled up a bit.
Oh, for sure. And even if they have a weak T side, they're going about the right way of sort of making up for that and covering for it if they have a very strong CT side. So Surreal has been the inner player, the dedicated B anchor most of, well, the entire time, and he's been doing a pretty good job and just controlling the flow, slowing things down, and making also sure that he doesn't get picked. And that's one of the biggest things, is walking that line of, I want to get some info, but I also don't want to expose myself too much and give them an opportunity to take me out. And
well, Dan, it's 3rd time the charm. What do you think?
Oh, Z-Power's in the right spot here for a peek. Flashbang's going forwards for Z-Power to peek with. It's going to be very important for forZe to get value. Huge tell if they don't get anything. And they go for a committed peek. It's not going to put them in any advantages. That's for sure. And Surreal, he's actually questioning. He's going to hear actually some of the stepping, I think. They're trying to fake him out. This
double fake. They had to do it again, I think. But Surreal has caught a kill, and that Incendiary is going to slow things down even more for forZe. But I think they were trying to get something and then recommit again, as they still have a couple of smokes and flashes left. So that multi-stage attacking process may come back to haunt them, as they're not fooled. Everyone on Endpoint is still where they need to be.
Oh my god. Oh my god. That was so close.
I think forZe is lost. I'm going to be honest with you.
The round's over already. They can't do anything.
That's crazy.
That is a horrible position to find yourself in, where you've basically outgamed yourself. They try to make things complicated here, and it just didn't work. And it almost feels like the way back in is for them to get that confidence going. Sometimes a team in this position will just start calling really ballsy stuff where you just try to make the rushes work, because at least then you can get your players in position to frag.
That was depressing to watch, even if you're an Endpoint fan. I feel like it's just like forZe is so deflated right now. And I get what they were trying to go for, but the problem is when you're trying to run a play like that, it doesn't quite work if you're not actually applying true pressure. Like, utility is pressure, but you also need to follow that up with some type of fragging power. And let me tell you this, there are 3 guys on forZe right now, 10 rounds deep with 1 kill.
Oh my god,
That is a nightmare. That's an absolute, my goodness.
And that's kind of my point too. You know, you need to get emotionally the team re-energized, and right now forZe, everything's crawling to a pace. There's rounds where they don't even get engagements before they've lost the round. That's just terrible for a player. Like, you just start to get cold, you start to question your abilities. It just doesn't feel good. You want to get out there, start fragging, getting numbers on the board, and feel like you can make something happen, but just positionally, they've got nothing.
Yeah,
in many of these rounds.
Going to go for triple Ivy setup this time around, which is kind of one of the common openings for Train outside of like the double enter and single Ivy. So at least they're trying a different look, a different opening to the round, but what is it really going to do is going to be the big question. Mighty Max is going to be here to defend. He does not have a smoke or anything left, though, so they could barrel through here shortly. Crucial actually gets pressured off of inner halls, losing that information, which causes the Endpoint members to have to maybe rethink their rotations a bit. So decent pressure being applied now by forZe, but can they capitalize?
They're going to make their way forwards, and it's up to the hitting the shots now. And again, Endpoint very confident with their shooting so far. Robin doesn't get too much off the bomb site defense, and all of a sudden the headshots raining in for the forZe team. And it looks like they should be good to take their first round unless Crucial does something rather ridiculous.
Yeah.
And he will get taken out. So finally a round on the board for forZe. Can they make it 5 though?
They did a great job in that round. I mean, they pressured Crucial off inner halls, which meant that CTs had to respect inner as a threat and actually kind of rotate some players off of A, or at least get them in more passive positions. They were able to exploit the fact that Mighty Max didn't have any utility left at Ivy, able to run him down with 3 players, and then just kind of start splitting the outer bomb site and kind of overwhelming some of the defenses that were there. So it took a long time, but they finally do get their point on the board. They need so much more, you have to feel, out of this half if they're really to pose a real threat.
Yeah, they have to get those all 5 rounds. They really do. Amazer waiting for any aggression from inner. Also looking like maybe they want to go and commit to that B play again. Surreal's been really good at delaying these plays.
Don't have the smokes for it, though. They have
only. Oh no, he didn't throw the smoke in time. He doesn't get the double kill either. That's actually horrible for Surreal. He's going to feel awful about that one. Can it be salvaged? I don't know if it can. They don't have any control of the connector. And that's the round. That is the round. Surreal couldn't drop the smoke in time.
Yeah, again, Counter-Strike a game of milliseconds sometimes. It can come to haunt you if you're just not getting where you need to be at the right moment. And it's going to cost Endpoint this round at the very least. Well done by forZe. Now stringing together 2 in a row. So starting to build up a little bit of something. They're still far off. Don't get me wrong, Endpoint have a massive lead. They've played a great CT half. Even if they don't get anything else out of it, they've done enough. But obviously you want to finish strong if you're Endpoint. You don't want to leave there any room for forZe. You don't want to give them any rope to get themselves back to shore.
I mean, credit to Surreal in the sense as well that he fluffed the smoke. And he realized that instead of trying to get the smoke out and throw it, he actually realized, I just have to actually, like, that's the best play now is to just try to frag. Forget about what I was just trying to do. That timing window is gone. I can just try, all I can do now is frag. And that to me does show actually a good level of composure and focus and kind of in the momentness. And he was unfortunate not to get his second kill there to maybe give a chance. But ultimately, you know, forZe, we have to be excited for the prospect of them to actually get some rounds to work with at this point. They've gotten 2 on the board with a possible 3 more should they continue to find success before the end of the first half. However, there are more buys in the hole here for the CT side. This could be the last one if forZe are successful in this round.
Very true. forZe could get themselves an easy round if they can figure this one out. They have all that they could ever hope for. 3 SGs and AWP, good utility. And that's just a fast outer play that they've been looking for some time. The duels are breaking out, and so far they are favoring Endpoint. Thomas and Robin, the ones drawing first blood, and it's just going to be added on to what's crucial. Everyone getting a piece so far on this outer defensive squad. C-Power gets 1 back, but it's come too late as he's all that's left against 4 remaining Endpoint members. Bomb down in front of him. No way to really get back to it without peeking someone. And it seems like his days are numbered, and maybe forZe's as well with it. Nice little hop, though, actually somehow able to get out and actually gets a kill. Looking for more, not quite on that one. Crucial will be the one doing the honors instead. 11-2 is now where things stand.
What's really crazy there is that it actually looked like, because we were on one of the flash players of the CT's perspectives in that push, we were on his perspective, and that looks really favorable for forZe. They had two players swing out with those flashbangs, and it looked like the CTs just were all blind. But somehow no CTs died. So I don't know if all the forZe players were completely blind as well or what was going on there, but they got some position. I feel like if they can keep doing that, they will have success, but there's just no rounds left.
Yeah. It's the first time they've actually really gone for a fast outer execute like that, and it just, again, had some legs to it, but they just couldn't quite really convert off of them. And now we're seeing Robin playing that aggressive ladder spot, trying to deny space to forZe to try to work anything towards outer once more.
Yeah, this smoke is, it looks kind of weird sometimes, but if you think that the T's have to really have ladder control before they can push T main, this stops the T main push in many respects. Oh my god, he's just able to just stand there. That shouldn't really be possible. He gets a lot of value out of that. He sees the bomb as well. He knows exactly what's happening, but it does go the way of forZe mostly. Crucial. Great shot connected, but the trade is through. He's now down to Surreal on the rotation. He creeps. Ivy, they don't know that he's here. There's the peek. See, Power's ready for it on this occasion. forZe pick up the third round, but this round, I mean, it did not look all that guaranteed.
Yeah, I mean, Robin had a chance, I think, to shut down the round, but unfortunately he was only able to get one kill. Somehow, Flit blindly able to spray through there, get a kill, and Flit, until that round, had one kill this entire half. He's had a tough one, but he gets a couple of key kills that round to get forZe their third on the board. And now at least they're making the half, if they can win this round, semi-respectable. I mean, it's still far from where you want to be. You want probably at like 6 rounds or something like that.
Oh
but
my god.
At least 4 is doable, but it's not going to happen. Is it? In the blink of an eye, this is already over. My goodness, all on face crack, and no, it's going to be the 12-3 half for Endpoint, and man, oh man, did they tear that half up.
It kind of looks like that's about to happen.
Yeah,
and
it does look that way.
12-3 up on map 3.
forZe coming in ranked number 13 against Endpoint at someone in the 50s or something like that. So this would be quite the upset, and it looks like it's in the cards. More than in the cards. It looks almost assured.
Yeah, and it's the Ivy push on the pistol. Flit doesn't want to allow any upsets to happen. Going to take one down and lots of spam, but the bomb does get secured. So that's a huge win already, no matter what happens now. Oh god, Flit gets double dinked there. 2v3 there, Robin and Crucial trying to hold things down. And it's not looking too bad all of a sudden. 2v2 breaks out as Power tries to take control of the hell position, which he will do successfully. But Crucial still lurking around. E-Box poses quite the problem, really delaying them here. They've got that kit and they've got a headshot as well. Very nicely done from Power, showing that aim, showing that prowess with the pistols. And that is a much needed round for forZe.
Yeah, much needed, I think, is an understatement. That was like desperation to get that round, just to survive, just to have a chance at something in this one. It's still a long road left to travel, but they get all the kills. A bomb plant comes out from Endpoint. They will wait to use that money into the next round, so they'll take the more conservative and probably the safer approach. They're just going to probably waste this round away, pop flash out into outer. Not much they can really do here. The real focus is the next round.
It's so crazy. Most of forZe have 5 or 6 frags except Extra Power.
Yep.
Here's all the kills.
Yep. He's out there asking why ain't no one help me.
Absolutely. He needs some help, man. He desperately needs some help. Maybe he's going to get it.
Maybe indeed. But here comes the full buy from Endpoint, so they'll be able to run whatever tactic they feel is best. I noticed that they definitely like to run their own fast outer executes, and it might be a good time to do it because utility's probably still low for CTs. But what I noticed about them is, you know, a lot of teams will swing out E-Box and swing out ladder. They like to put multiple numbers through Olaf and like actually just attack into Ivy.
Yep.
So they have like different routes than other teams will normally have. So I'm curious to see if that comes into play. And in fact, they're actually going to open triple Ivy this time around. So they're going to maybe look to really get heavy towards this angle. They really like attacking Ivy, I feel like, whether it be with this setup or whether it be just plowing out T-connector through Olaf.
Things slow down a little bit as we get that pressure, and I like that forZe take this moment of calm to be proactive and take some map control. They see that nothing's going on around team main. That does start to give them some clues, so they can deduce exactly where the T's are. And as far as they're concerned, the T's have to either be Inner or Ivy at this point. They've cleared everything else, and they do have a more committed setup towards B. So this Ivy play could work out very nicely for Endpoint if they are to find a timing soon.
Yeah, absolutely. It does look pretty nice as they're starting to make that forward progression as we start drifting towards the later stages of this round. 50 seconds left on the clock, ticking. Smoke is going to come through to block the backhaul side. Going to molly up close as well, making sure no one's up close on that box. Flit now having to be weary of both sides of himself now. And here comes that push out. Great headshot from Flit. Mighty Max is quick to respond, and Jerry's not good enough. Just only the one kill. Face crack seems up to the task, but again, it's just these crazy skirmishes that we see all series long.
And finally, we don't get just the trade. Okay, we do get another trade. It's frag for frag the entire way in this round. And now see Power, he is the man that you want if you're a forZe fan in the clutch against Mighty Max as he makes his way forwards. Mighty Max doesn't know precisely where he is, but that is the same situation for Power as well. Clearing the most common positions, you want to make sure that you've taken care of this hell spot. Now Power will wrap around the side here. He surely has a good idea as to where Mighty Max now has to be as he makes his way around the back of the bomb train, and that is going to be a fantastic route that he took because it works out very well indeed, and he'll get the defuse to boot. See Power, he is coming up huge right now for forZe. He's the only light on their team at the moment, and he is shining bright.
Yeah, there is a 13 kill difference between himself and the number 2 man on his team right now. 21 kills to his name. A couple of guys have 8 kills on his team. He's a top fragger of the server. He has been unreal, but kind of expected almost in a way. I mean, Z-Power is, again, the name that everyone kind of talks about from this team. After a kind of a quiet day yesterday, quiet start to the series, now he's begun to really show himself.
He needs to definitely keep it up. So right now, Endpoint is still in a very strong position. The AWP is initially shown towards Inner, so that is something that Endpoint don't have to worry about now. They know that the economy is not quite there for forZe to have a second one, so that does allow them to rethink how they may want to peek Ivy and teammate. Don't have to worry about the AWPs being posted up on you.
Do see Endpoint starting to gather up some of their numbers over towards the inner halls. They do have a couple of smokes for Z and maybe some of the other trains. They run some similar smoke setups to forZe in some of the games I've seen, so you might see something somewhat familiar to that, as they do seem to be really looking for it here. That smoke does come in, might slow them down just a bit. They, again, will have that Ivy flanking option as well on Robin. Robin's normally an entry guy for them in a lot of maps, but on this map, he is their default Ivy player, and so he will be used to backstab, pinch, or at least hold people in place outside to try to make this inner execute a bit more potent.
Endpoint really running that clock down, keeping forZe guessing. forZe rotating all over the place at the moment. They are going to reassert themselves towards B a little bit, and then they're going to re-rotate back to A again. It's happened many times, and that's going to be the correct call here. 25 seconds to plant the bomb. In goes Endpoint. Jerry with the headshot trays through once more as Flit is doing God's work there towards the help position. Jerry again makes his presence known. They don't know which way to look. Endpoint starting to struggle here. Crucial, runs out of teammates to help him, and that will be the round there for forZe. Brilliant play from them to hold on to that quick switch down ladder through to the A attack from Endpoint.
I think that was like the key sentence you said, was not knowing where to look. And I think that the way that forZe can sometimes play and peek off of each other does make it really difficult to know like which threat is the most immediate and where you need to be directing your attention the most. And it just becomes overwhelming. Again, it's that chaos factor. And forZe are starting to find their footing here, finally on train. It took so long. They were down 12-3. Now they've won the first 4 rounds of this half. Starting to get some economy going. Have the superior buy in this round, no doubt about that. And all of a sudden, they're creeping back in.
Yeah, I would like to see Endpoint go very, very aggressive outside on the next gun round, because they played a lot of really slow paces, and it seems like forZe have been fairly good at dealing with that. And it would be, I think, important for Endpoint to once again kind of fill the energy. But we'll see how they do in this round. They're looking for those picks, those headshots with the Eagles. Kepler as well, trying to get that economic damage out there. It's looking pretty good here for economic damage. 2 kills so far. There's the third. And it's a 2v2 all of a sudden with the Deagles. They are wounded. Oh, God, that was very close. Good stuff from Almeza, reacting well to Surreal. But Mighty Max, no bullets in that M4. It's got to be the Deagle, and that's a nice connection. Oh, he's done it! Oh, my goodness. How has he followed up onto C Power? He was ready for that. Somehow, I don't know how, but he was. And that is an unexpected round. And that could change everything.
That's jaw-dropping, man. That's absolutely crazy stuff from Mighty Max that comes from the name you would expect it from the least, I feel like. Mighty Max typically, you know, being kind of one of the more statistically weak players on this team, I feel like.
More tepid.
Huh?
More tepid.
Yes, I think that's a nice way to put it. So for him to pop off like that is really nice. And actually, the more that I think about it, he also had a lot of impact on Vertigo in that victory. He had a lot of like entries up A ramp and was actually playing pretty well there. It was really just Inferno where he kind of dipped a little bit, so nice to see it.
It's broken the back of forZe as well. They were on the comeback trail, securing their economy, and that kill, those kills from Mighty Max, that round has crippled the economy of forZe. They have way less to work with now. They need a surprise result. That's a good reaction, but he's only good for the single kill. Face crack now again. Nades all over the place. Really fast movement here from Endpoint. Very coordinated, and it's working out really well. forZe don't have time to react for once, and they don't have a response due to that fact.
And this forces forZe to, wow, that's a tongue twister. Makes them have to force buy for the rest of the game.
Yep.
I mean, you don't have a choice. Otherwise, you give a free 15th and free series point to Endpoint. So unless you really want to roll the dice and take a full save next round so you get a full buy in what could be the last round of the game, that is an option, but it feels awfully like it's going to be a bunch of light buys and Endpoint are going to have the advantage every single time to finish this one off. And they might just do it. It might be a crazy, crazy upset in the cards here. I mean, they have never beaten a team of this caliber.
Man, C Power needs some help, dude. He needs some help.
Really does. It's actually depressing at this point. Like, I mean, some of the players have woken up a bit compared to the fact that, like, I think 10 rounds in, some of those guys only had one frag. So they definitely have woken up a bit, but it's come too late and not enough.
Indeed. Oh, back into it we go. And
the second place ADR on the team is 60 ADR. That's a rough look.
That is a rough look. And another fast one from Endpoint. It worked out really well in the previous round. They are everyone's getting out towards Hell, actually. This is quite cool to see. And they'll smoke off Ivy as well so they can eventually wrap their way through to the bomb train. But they've got to be careful. These avenues are pretty tight, and you can see that it will be taken advantage of by forZe, picking up a couple kills, and Endpoint are slowing their progress to the plant. But the smoke here, you can see it doing its job. Oh, no! Walking straight through the smoke. Thomas with a risky play, and it's forZe to come out on top with that one.
Oh, man, that looked like he might pull it off, actually, for a moment there. Z-Power is a bit delayed, but still landed the shot nonetheless, and now it's put the pressure on Crucial and Mighty Max. They're left all alone now. Mighty Max faking the plant, though. What a headshot on the Almazer. That helps things along. Looking for more as well. He's weary of another CT and Z, and he would be correct, but now he plants open to it. Oh, he figures it out, though. He might even get another kill. Not quite, but at least still alive and able to plant more safely. Also has Crucial still guarding him from T-Connector as well.
Doesn't expect the move from SC Power, though, and Crucial, it's up to him again. That orb goal, that's huge. Gets the first one. He's just going to swing into the second. It does not care at all. And that's 15 rounds. That's match point in the bag for Endpoint. And they have a lot of match points here. This will be a hard one to throw away, Dust. I don't want to speak too soon, but Endpoint, they're looking good to go on this series for the upset.
And this time it's the Dutchman from Crucial there coming in and getting a couple of big kills. Of course, it is mostly a British team, but you got to show some love to Crucial. Comes from the Netherlands, and then obviously you got Robin from Sweden.
Nice shot, Crucial. It's making it looking doable here for Endpoint. Oof. This is that flick. I feel like the British fans all over the world are holding their breath right now. Can they do it?
This would be...
It would be such a ridiculous
Wouldn't this
upset.
be one of the biggest British victories on land since like Henry G's team beat, who was it?
I don't know.
Was it Sponge's team?
The fact that could be considered a legitimate result of any kind is already very suspect. But we'll see if they can make anything happen here. They've got a 5v3. They're switching things up. towards it for that last final push. A nice bit of damage from the CZ, but it's up to Exit Power with the Scout and Jerry with that MP9. Exit Power going very close here. He's actually not being detected, or he has, it looks like. I misspoke. Surreal takes him out, and Jerry, the death march there will go down, and that's it. A British victory on land, taking down forZe, eliminating them. I can't believe it.